Hello friends, in today's video I am showcasing how we can use SharePoint out-of-the-box permission settings to control item level access. This scenario is useful when you want to grant user access to see only record created by them, and you want to grant super user, for example manager, team leader, supervisor, to see all the record in a list. So in this video we'll be covering 4 scenarios. We'll be restricting user to see only record created by them. Then we will be promoting user to see all the records. We'll be then limiting the access of promoted users so they can see all the record but should not be able to change the list settings. Then we'll be empowering promoted user to manage permissions of other users. So let's get started. I have created this SharePoint site, and this is a team site not connected to 365 group. In this site, I have granted access to 3 users. Samit got site owner access. Adrian and Kushal got site member access. I have created a employee list where I have added 4 records. Out of that, 2 records are created by Samit, who is a site owner, and 1 record created by Kushal, and 1 record is created by Adrian. Both are site members. So if you see here right now, the site owner can see all the records in this list. If I head back to the another window where I have logged in using Adrian, if I go to employee list, I should be able to see all the records here as well. In the another window, I have logged in using another user, Kushal, and I can see all the list item here as well. So to achieve our first scenario, restricting user to see only records created by them, I'll head back to my site owner browser window, and I'll go back to list settings, click on advanced settings. Here I can see there is a permission called item level permission. By default, read all item and create and edit all item is selected. It means any user who got a required permission should be able to read all items, can view all items. So we don't want that. We want user to see only the item that they have created. So we'll check this one. Similar to that, here we don't want user to see or edit, create or edit all item. We just want them to create or edit an item created by them. So we'll just select this one. Now click OK. If I go back to employee list, as I am logged in here using a site owner, I will be able to see all the records because the permission that we just configured is applicable to the user below designer permission level. In other words, all the user who got site owner permission or designer permission will be able to see all the record all the time. So if I head back to another window again and try to refresh the browser, we can see here Adrian will be able to see only the record that he has created. If I go back to another window, Kushal, and refresh the browser, now Kushal can only see the record that he has created. This way we have achieved our first scenario. Now in the second scenario, we want to promote a user to see all record. So let's say Adrian is now got promoted and he's a team leader. He wanted to see all the records in a list. How we can achieve that? To do that, we can grant a higher access level. So if I go back to the site owner window and click on the site permission, click on the site permission, advanced permission settings. I have created a group here called Employee Management Designer Group and granted a designer access level. So if I add Adrian to this particular group, now Adrian got a designer access right. If we head back to Adrian's window, try to refresh. Now we can see Adrian can view all the records that is created by him or other people. This way we have achieved our second scenario. We promoted user to see, Adrian to see all the record. Now in the third scenario, we need to limit the access of promoted users, so they can't do higher operations like changing the list settings or creating a list. They should just be able to contribute. So how we can achieve that? Because right now Adrian got a designer access level. So if he can also go to list setting and he can change different settings over here, we don't want him to do that. So what we can do is we can demote the permission level of Adrian. So for that, we'll head back to our super user window, and if we go back to site permission, advanced permission. So what we can do is we first identify which settings, which permission level is providing access to Adrian to see all the records. So if we go to permission level, there is a designer permission, and this override list behavior permission is actually the one which give uh, Adrian access to all the records. So what we can do is we can create a new permission level. We just want Adrian to give the contribute permission. So what we can do is we can create a one custom permission level. We will copy the contribute permission and we'll create a new permission called contribute super user. And we just make sure we select this override list behavior. This will give Adrian or whoever user granted this permission to not only contribute but see all the records. So if we click create, now we have successfully created the permission level. The next step is we'll be creating a SharePoint site group. So if I head back to site permission and create a new group called employee management contributor super user, and we'll grant this SharePoint site group a custom permission level that we just created, contribute super user. Now we can add Adrian to this SharePoint group. So we have successfully added Adrian to this SharePoint group. We just make sure we remove the higher permission that we granted earlier to Adrian. So we'll remove his his designer access right from by removing him from this group. So I'll remove him from here, and if we look back in the member as well, he is added. So member is edit permission grant Adrian access to create list or document library. So we don't want that. We'll just remove that access as well. So now Adrian got only the contribute super user access. So if we head back to the Adrian window and refresh this, we can see he is still able to see all the records. And if we go to the list settings, he don't have permission. So This is how we can achieve restricting the permission of the promoted user, so they can see all the record but they should not be able to change the list settings. Now the next scenario that we'll be covering is how we can grant this promoted user access to manage the permission of other user. So let's say Adrian not only want to see all the record, but he should be able to manage the permission of other user as well. He should have the ability to grant access to other user. How we can achieve that? So to do that, what we can do is we can head back to our site owner window, and if I go to the advanced permission settings, and let's say Adrian want to manage the permission of contributor group. So what I can do is I can open this group, contributor group, and in the settings I will remove the group owner to Adrian. And right now everyone who are the member of this group can see the membership, and uh, who can edit the membership of the group. So we just make sure it is selected as group owner, so only admin can manage the membership of this particular group. Now we don't want another user Kushal to be part of the member group, because again the member group got edit permission right, which is a higher permission right. So we will remove him from here, and instead we will add him to the contributor access. So we'll go here in the contributor SharePoint group and we'll grant him contributor access right. So uh, so um, the let's head back to the Adrian window, and we can see here he's still able to see all the records, uh, and he should be able to manage the permission of contributor SharePoint group. But how he can access that, because he don't have permission to view that uh, view that group. So one way is we have to share the URL of that particular group. So if we go back to the contributor group, this is the URL. So one way is the URL has to be shared directly with Adrian. For time being, I'll be just directly browsing this particular URL, and you can see here Adrian can see this particular group, and he can actually add or remove the user. So he can he can remove the user, action remove user from the group. So now Kushal got no access. So if I go back to Kushal's window and try to refresh it, he got no permission. And if I head back to Adrian's window, he still can be able to add user as well. So if he add Kushal back to the list, and if you go back here, Kushal is able to access the site and access the list. And with that, we have covered the fourth scenario as well. I hope this video has shared some knowledge, and thanks for watching.